Cause the real dawn when you see one sipping on booze in the house of blues. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. If I got to choose the coast, I got to choose.
How's everybody doing today? Right on. You guys slow after lunch? Those tacos look delicious. All right. Well, like I said, my name is Jordan Menard. Most of you probably don't know me or know me as the guy with the very authoritative mustache on the iStack flyer. I'm here today to talk to you about basically how you can find profitable creatives. I've been in online advertising for about 4 years, but it wasn't until recently that through a few changes in process, I really got good and got quick at testing creative. This is going to surprise absolutely no one in the room, but the most important part, or one of the most important parts of your campaign is always going to be on your creative, right? That's what people see first. So we're going to talk about some of the things that I use as an info marketer to quickly test and find the most profitable creative that I can then scale for large amounts of profit. At least that's the goal. More appropriately, we're going to talk about how to profitably add $1,000 a day in spend, because anybody could add just $1,000 a day, right? Now, one of the things that you have to remember is it's not going to be profitable day of. And that's a little bit tricky. We'll talk about that in a bit. So let's look into some background. I was running local campaigns up until 2016. I started working with Sam Ovens. If you saw his ads on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat, you are welcome. The past 18 months, this is what I was doing. We did about 20 million in sales in 2018. 1.5 million of the profit alone came just from Facebook. So when you're buying ads on this scale for an info product, you have a unique disadvantage. That unique disadvantage is, unlike some of my e-commerce compatriots, they have the advantage of once you get the click, the user goes to the page and gets the sale. I don't have that luxury. This is a high-ticket info learning, it's a course, right? It's an online course. And it costs $2,000, and there's really no more overhead for us. And this is the moment where if it was that easy, everyone would do it, right? So one of the things that we had to figure out was how do we spend at scale without getting any sales? We know that the sales are going to come a week, 2, 3 down the line. So how can we scale and continue spending when we don't know what's going to come out of it? So one of the things that I learned is there's 3 main keys to doing this right. Now, this is not a very fancy PowerPoint. Most of this is going to come down to when I actually show you my account so you can see what I mean. But there's 3 main premises that you need to keep in mind if you're looking to do this. Now, this works uniquely well for info products, but it also works for anyone who's trying to promote content. And you'll see why in a second. So today's example is going to be Mark Lack. This is one of my clients right now. He's a successful personal brand guru. I put that words in quotes because he hates it for obvious reasons. He also sells high info e-learning products. He teaches people how to build their personal brand. Now, when I first got this account, he had basically hired an agency who he was paying out, and they took his ad account and created a new pixel, and he didn't even have access to it. So when I got access to this, he had nothing. Nothing. No audiences, no nothing. So I sat there thinking, well, what do I do? This guy wants me to make him millions of dollars, and he has nothing. He wants to go 180 on the racetrack, but he's got a bicycle. You know, how do we get there? And this is what happened. So the first key, and this is the pretty obvious one, is you're going to use interest targeting to create relevance with your offer. Now, most people, when they see this, what they think is, well, yeah, duh, you just look at interest targeting and get sales. Wrong. That's not what we're looking to do here. What we are looking to do is create relevance with our offer, right? With our offer. And you'll see what I mean in 1 second. So these are very simple tools everyone can use. My favorite, most definitely, is Google Trends, for sure. The reason I like Google Trends so much is because that's going to tell you what your users are searching in relation to whatever your brand is. So for me, personal branding. All I had to do was type that in right there, and then I get all of these right here, but my favorite is personal branding photography. The reason why I like this is because I never would have thought of that. When I'm in personal branding, I never would have thought, oh, there's a high percentage of my users or potential customers who are photographers. Why wouldn't I think of that? Because how would I? There's no way to know. So what's advantageous about using these types of softwares is that you get to just see what people are searching and reverse engineer it. And we'll talk more about this, and you guys will actually see the ads I make based off this search term. The next one, this is BuzzSumo. And you just look at any articles that are trending within personal branding. So my favorite was this one right here. Leonardo DiCaprio has donated $100 million to fight climate change. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, what the hell am I talking about? Right? Photography and Leo DiCaprio donating $100 million to fight climate change. Sounds irrelevant. But again, you have to remember, the goal of this is not to just drive sales. The goal is to create relevance with an interest targeting. If you have no targeting at all, no audiences at all, you need to build off of something. And so this is how you're going to do that. This also becomes advantageous when you start scaling, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, key 2, and this one is super crucial. Everyone forgets this one. Be real with yourself and your audience. How many times have you guys seen a Facebook ad and you're just like, oh my God, who wrote this? Like you cringe, right? Because you can just see it's so tone deaf. It's so out of place. It's so obvious they're only thinking about the sale. So often in online marketing, because it is such a data-driven field, because we are so focused on the conversion, and because let's be real, we want to get paid out, we forget that there's a real human being behind that device. We forget that there's an actual person who needs to be engaged, and you, as an advertiser, are quite literally interrupting their entire day. So if you're going to interrupt their entire day, I would submit you need to give them something worth that interruption. And this is how, when you do it right, you're going to see immense results with this because you are thinking about the user. When you think about the user, Facebook likes you because all Facebook cares about is the user. Okay, so here's an example of how this can play out. You want to finesse and don't force, right? A good example of forcing would be comment on this, tag your friends, and I'll give you an iPad. It's like, all right, we get it. Like you're really desperate for engagement. You know, another example would be writing a long-form copy with no button, no headline, just an image, and allowing people to read the entire thing and then deciding if they're interested in your product. Now, be honest with me. How many of you guys do that? How many of you guys take away the headline, take away the button, and only put a link 400 characters down in the text body? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's actually, so what, 3? So that's 3 more than I thought. Right? Like no one does that because we don't think about it in that manner. We don't think about the fact we really are interrupting someone's day. We really are eliciting a response from them. And you know you are because you see it in the comments. The best way I can phrase it is when you go to write these ads, create a mindset you write your ads under, one that makes you want to defend your brand without being a jerk. Now, like I said in the previous point, it's about being real. It's about creating a real authenticity. When I wrote this ad, The Death of the 9-to-5, I felt it, man. You know, I had some really crappy jobs. Internet marketing actually gave me something. So if you, at the bottom of this, you'll see we got 3.2 thousand engagements on this. This ad was served over 5 million people. For every roughly $347 it would spend, it would generate 2,000. So you guys do the math there. Now, it's definitely not e-com, but that is a lovely payout, no? And so here's how things kind of played out. You have to understand, if you're going into the content game, you are going to get a lot of pushback. So this lovely lady, we'll call her Blue, said, if you actually spent some time, this is on the same post that we had just, so on this guy, if you go to the comments, all 347 of them, one of them's here, And if you actually spent some time reading before writing, you would know that every single company starts with a description of their mission, which is never making money, whatever that XD means, but something else valuable like saving kids in Africa, saving you from being ignorant. Wow. Someone was sassy that day. Now, when I wrote this ad, and as you can see, that comment started to pop, right? 43. So it's starting to gain a lot of traction. Now, I wrote that ad probably a week and a half before this. I instantly came up with a response. My mission is to free people from the slavery of the 9-to-5 system and prevent people from taking on college debt they don't need that handicaps them for the rest of their life. Can you tell me about your project to help the kids in Africa? Now, wait till you see her response. It's wonderful. Sam Ovens, are you a robot? And this is my favorite. Or did you again wrote without reading? That typo is just, you can't make this up. And here's what I love. And this is why I said you have to be real. And when you bring this attitude in, you see real results. Some random, we'll call him dark green, comes in and says he's pointing out your ridiculous statement with his own retort. Not sure what companies you work for, but I'm pretty sure most major brands didn't have a mission statement even close to what you proposed, Blue. Her name is Mariana. But my point is here, you now see that other people are defending me. On top of that, my comeback had more engagement than her burn. So this now helps my ad, right? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to show you what happens when you adopt that mindset and then use some of these strategies. Another example, this is a woman who, it's the opposite, right? She's doing well. She doesn't want what we offer. Cool. I said, hey, go on your way. But again, with that mindset, it really helps. You'll know when you're doing it right because this is what it looks like. Those are the relevant scores for the ads that I put up for Mark. You can see the Connie, Mary and Andy, Kylie even. This method was generating flat 10s across the board. Flat 10s. When's the last time your ad account looks like that? Now, these are all cold audiences too, on top of it. And the way that you get that done is by doing what I said. You leverage another person's audience to create relevance with your own offer. And that's where we get to this part. Write smarter, and work smarter. And this part I'm going to show you actually in my account real quick while I have, well, I'm almost up, but a couple seconds. Can we pull up my screen? Okay, cool. So let's look right here. What I did, you can see New Leo 1, photography. So those two things that I found on those searches, I went and grabbed, and then I wrote this right here. This piece is called New Ending 1. If you'll notice, it starts with the most shocking part, anyone can do this. That's because this ad and this ad may start different, but they segue into the exact same sales pitch. Now, what this does is allows me to create, oh, you can't read that. What this does is allows me to write one ad, but I can't zoom in on either. That's annoying. Hold on one second. So this is all about photography, right? This ad is all about Leonardo DiCaprio. They seem like they have nothing in common, right? Here's the 100 million, here's the donation. However, let's go down to the last sentence. What is incredible about Leonardo DiCaprio is that he used his personal brand to transcend what he could do as one person, even as a celebrity. Photography, the reality is the most famous celebrities in the world use a specific plan system to build their brand. And then you surge into the new ending, which is the same for both. The most shocking part, anyone can do this. The reality is you already have a personal brand, you're just not profiting off it. So now what I did is I wrote one ending that I can attach to any other first stanza that allows me to get interest in whatever I want. What does Leonardo DiCaprio have to do with my brand? Absolutely nothing. But after I wrote this ad, quite a lot. And you can see that here with the CBO. So do you guys know what CBO stands for? Campaign Budget Optimization. Basically think, if you've ever been bowling with bumpers, that's CBO. It helps guide, Facebook will actually help guide your budget more directly to accomplish your objective. There's draws, there's goods and bads of it. So to quickly summarize, because I'm going over here, what I'll do is, like, I'll take Leo DiCaprio, I'll put a budget at $350 with my new creative. I'll create 8 ad sets. Now, my goal here is I want to put a budget that allocates roughly $45 to $50 per ad set. So that allows me to get enough traction. One of these ad sets is going to be the interest right here. Can you guys see that? Where it says Leonardo DiCaprio. So everything is a combination of lookalikes and interests that are relevant to my creative. Then here, I have 6 ads, 3 videos, 3 images. I do the same thing. 1 is a post, and 2 are headlines. So you have this here, which is just the post, and then you have the headlines here. Now, what's awesome about this is that Facebook's algorithm is going to use the campaign budget optimization, boil down your most profitable audience and your best creative within a matter of 2 days. I'll then take those creatives, as you can see I'm doing this with photography and DiCaprio on video views and engagement. Allowing CBO to optimize boils down your most profitable audience, your most profitable creative, and I've only spent $700 over 2 days, which allows me to be within 30% of what my info product costs. The TLDR of this is using this type of strategy allows you to leverage the biggest, the best audiences of other influencers for free, while simultaneously finding the combination of headline, image or video, and audience that you need to successfully scale these campaigns. You guys have any other questions? I'll be happy to answer them after, but that's how you can use CBO and other people's audiences to really scale your info products. Thank you, guys.
When you see one sipping on booze in the house of blues, I'm going